Arkansas Minority Advocacy Council. It's now time for Community Conversations, a program focusing on the people working to make the Jonesboro community a better place, while offering viewpoints from all sides of the issues. The views expressed in this program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of KLEK 102.5 FM, the voice of Arkansas Minority Advocacy Council, or our underwriters or sponsors.
Good morning, everyone out there. Happy Tuesday to you all. Today is Tuesday, May 16, 2017, and my special guest for today is Miss Lynda Nash. She's director of the KLEK Pride Center on Arkansas State University's campus, and we also have Miss April Mencius. Mencius, who is a veteran here. She's going to share. She's serving the Air Force, and she's going to share part of her story and what she does with the KLEK Pride Center. I'll be your host for today, Kabila Hart, along with Ms. Micah Simone. Good morning, Micah.
Good morning.
All right, so let's get started with a few introductions. We've been talking a little bit off air, but I would like for you to please introduce yourself to our listeners and viewers, and also you, Ms. April, give some background about yourself so they'll know who you are.
Well, I'm Lynda Nash, and I have been at the KLEK Pride Center, I guess starting my 5th year, getting close to it. I've been active with them since they started. We have been in existence for 10 years. And the KLEK Pride Center is a very unique program. When we first started, we were the first of the kind in the country. And so that we are a not-for-profit that is based on a college university campus.
Okay.
And our goal is to serve the needs of our military veterans. And they do not have to be a student at a state to recognize or get our services. And so we actually have provided services, I'd say, from every age. Probably our youngest is in their low 20s, up to, I think, our oldest, and we had a volunteer who's 92.
92.
And we have veterans that access services or volunteer with us from World War II, Korea, Vietnam, of course, our Middle East conflicts. And so we serve a wide range, male and female. And so, but we're very proud of our program, and we meet a need in Northeast Arkansas.
That's really wonderful. Thank you so much for the work that you do. Thank you. Miss April?
I'm April Mencius, and I've been involved with the KLEK Pride now for probably, I'd say, going on 2 years, off and on, but I've been an active member probably now about the last year, because I was a dual student at Black River and A-State, and now I'm at A-State full-time.
Okay.
So I am 31, and I served in the Air Force for 6 years. I have a little girl who is 8 years old. 3 tours to Gitmo over Guantanamo Bay, Cuba, the Pentagon, and Iraq, Afghanistan.
Are you okay? Mm-hmm. You need a moment? Okay, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, that's okay. At the KLEK Pride Center, like I said, I volunteer helping out vets, but I'm also a student there as well. So I help Miss Lynda. We have different services for veterans, and I've helped, I guess, a big part this year in the dog program.
Okay.
So.
And that's something we're going to definitely talk about. Hopefully, in the second part of the show, you have a dog fest coming up.
We do. We're very excited. This is a new program for us, and so I know we're going to talk a little bit about it, but we do a huge range of services. We're located on a university campus, so we can access services through the university's programs. So we use master level students to help provide rehabilitation, speech services, of course education referrals, but we do mental health. We do either direct mental health, or we provide some counseling on site. We do some combat support groups that where we have someone from the vet center out of Memphis who sends a clinician over to meet with our combat veterans, and they do a mental health support group, also some individual counseling. We also contract with a couple of providers in the local community to do some individual counseling, both for the veteran themselves or a family member.
That is wonderful. Many people don't understand what veterans need when they come home. Anyone that's been in any type of armed services, I don't think the general public really understands what they need when they come home. They don't understand what they've been through, either overseas or maybe in another training camp, even if it is in the United States. So I'm sure that you all are a welcomed resource for those individuals that come home after going through whatever they go through.
I think so, and I think the thing that surprises most people is that sometimes when they first come home, they're doing okay, or they're managing symptoms, and as time goes on, it worsens, or they're not adapting as well, and there's conflicts. And there's always a readjustment period for anyone who's been gone.
Yes, ma'am.
And so sometimes it may be 6 months, a year, or longer before they actively seek some assistance.
So I have a question. I see that you're shaking your head, and I'm listening to your words. And I would like to ask, what are some of the first signs for people that may not understand what they're going through mentally? What are some of the first signs that someone would?
Isolation. They quit going to things maybe they used to go to. Maybe family events, that they struggle in any kind of crowd, even if it's family.
Okay.
And so they tend to stay home, avoid, pop in for a minute and leave. They may, if they were a member of a church, even though they agree with everything they did in their service, sometimes there's some guilt. And because of that, they don't know if God will forgive them. It's a moral injury, and so they may quit going to their church.
Wow.
And that's a huge support for our veterans, is for them to pick up their spirituality. And so that's a loss for them. They may be reactive to sounds. Someone drops a plate, drops a glass, or out in public, they rattle a tray, and they get embarrassed because of their response. So then they quit going. They quit going to the store. They quit going shopping. They quit going to things that their family wants to enjoy. And then their family's frustrated with them.
Just a follow-up question. What can we do as outside looking in whenever we see our family member or a loved one going through that, even if they don't tell us? What is it, something that we can do to aid them?
Part of it is just talk to them and say, I don't understand, I wasn't there. I'm not trying to, but talk to me about it, or let's find you some help.
Okay.
Let's find you some assistance where someplace where they do understand.
Okay.
And can I,
Yes, ma'am.
if I can add to that, I think one of the biggest things is to know, I know for me it was really difficult, and to have them there, like just to be there. Because so many, like whenever I isolated, my family didn't understand, so they didn't want to push or pry.
Okay.
And so they kind of backed off, and in my case, I think it would have been extremely helpful if they had just stepped up and been like, okay, we don't understand, but we're here.
So you maybe want them to push a little more versus pulling back.
Right. And,
Okay.
and every family is different, so I mean, of course, everybody's going to react in a different way.
Okay.
And I'm just speaking from my experience.
Okay.
But that's a big issue.
Okay.
It's just to know that they're there.
And sometimes I think our veterans also want to protect their family members, and so they're afraid that maybe if they told some of the stories or some of the things that happened, that either it would shock them or hurt them, or they're trying to avoid them being exposed to those harmful acts.
Okay. Now, Miss Lynda, you mentioned off air that you were a military wife, mother. And so what is it like for you on your end when your family comes home? Do they still have moments where they want to hold back from you and you have to kind of push and nudge?
They do. My husband was a 30-year veteran, active duty, and he was hurt in Desert Storm. And then all 4 of our adult children have all served in the Army.
Okay.
They've all been Army. My husband actually served in 3 branches,
Okay.
but that was unique. But anyway, I've seen a difference in all of them.
Okay.
My husband is very upfront about his issues. You know, we go someplace out in public to eat. His back has to be to a wall. He has to feel protected. He has to see people coming in. He detests women in line with purses that bump you.
Oh, goodness.
And he said because that elicits a very strong startle reflex from him. If someone drops a tray or something like that, you know, he's embarrassed himself and that upsets him. But, you know, for a brief moment there, he's back someplace else. And so, especially as a combat veteran, and I see the same thing in my boys that have deployed. Some of them, they all came home with knee, back, and shoulder injuries. You know, I've got a 34-year-old that has the knees of somebody twice his age. He's already had 3 knee surgeries, and they wear them out. And then they wonder, they creak and groan, and because they have, you know, it's been tough on them. But, you know, my youngest son was a combat medic. He served with the Forward Surgical Unit in Baghdad and saw and worked on friends, people that he was very close to, and he struggles a lot with those issues.
And so I'm sure that the the different services you offer concerning counseling, therapy, it's much needed.
Well, we're a safe place. We're a safe place on campus if you're a student.
Okay.
We're a safe place for you to come hang out. We operate a day room, and so you can come sort of hang out, do your homework, study. It's a place for veterans. We may feed you. There's snack things for you. The community is very supportive. And then we try and identify what do you need, and then we try and develop either a program or access those resources.
Okay.
And that's where Northeast Arkansas is unique. We're in the corner of the state. There's actually 3 veteran administration systems that serve our area, but none of them are here. You know, it's Poplar Bluff, Memphis, and Little Rock. That's a haul for a lot of people.
Yes, ma'am.
For the local.
It is for our local ones. And so one of the things we're trying to do is bring some of those services here.
Okay.
So they're not driving, especially, you know, when you isolate, you don't drive.
Yes, ma'am.
So that becomes an issue. And so the DAV, the state DAV van is here in town this week.
Okay.
That's one of the services. They're going to be at our office all day Thursday, and they're offering to work on veteran administration claims for some of the veterans. Do you have questions or need assistance? And then the VA is coming on the 23rd of May to our office, and we're making appointments for veterans, so they have a VA rep they can talk to directly.
That's wonderful. You're tuned into Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM, and we're speaking with Mrs. Lynda Nash and April Mencias. And if you have any questions or comments for them, please give us a call, 870-277-1080, or you can leave us a message on our Facebook live stream, and I'm sure they'll be happy to address your question or answer then. If it's something more personal, we can handle it off the air. Or please give us a call or drop us a message. And again, that phone number is 870-277-1080. Okay, so let's talk about some events that you have coming up. We've touched on the Dog Fest, and we definitely want to get much more into that, but I'm sure there are other events throughout the year that you host.
There are. Well, we're having our service officer, like I said, on May 23rd.
Okay.
And if someone's interested and needs to speak and wants to make an appointment for that, they can contact our office and we'll put them on that list. And that would be at 870-972-2624. We welcome visitors to our office. Okay. Also, we'll give a tour, talk about some of the programs that we do, if they have a particular need, if they're interested in going back to school, anywhere. Doesn't matter if it's at A-State. Of course, we'd love to have them at
Okay,
A-State.
go ahead,
But,
Wes.
they can go to the University of Arkansas, Black River, ASU Newport. Sometimes it's a good choice, especially if you're coming back to school, or you may be interested in a VOTEC program. And we will be happy to help you to see what do you need to make that happen. And so that would be an option. If you don't understand how to access veterans benefits, we'll help you sign up. We'll help you register for e-benefits. We'll walk you through that. We've done some computer training.
Okay.
We have a veteran who's a volunteer who is putting together and rehabbing computers for veterans that don't have one. And so
wonderful.
he'll take, if you've got an old computer, laptop you're not using, he will redo it, fix it, take steel parchment to fix another one. And so then he provides that to a veteran who doesn't have one at no cost.
Well, I want to ask, since you brought that up, was that a skill that he learned in the military?
I think it is a skill, it's an interest that he has, and then he's going back to school in that field.
Now,
And so he devised this himself, and we're just an avenue for that.
and with some of the other veterans that come home and they've learned these various skills in the military, do you find that it helps them kind of regain a sense of self to use those skills again, maybe to help other people, those that with that individual who learned the electronics, and there's so many things that you all learn when you're there.
They do. He feels good. He doesn't want really a whole lot of recognition for that. But at the same time, he's taking something somebody's not using and making it usable for somebody else. And it also gives those veterans a way, because the VA is like everything else, it's going online.
Okay.
And so giving them access to see their claims and their benefits and make medical appointments, order medicine. And we can teach them, and we use people like April, who's very computer savvy. And so, because this is informal, it can be one-on-one. We have a little computer lab that we can set up and do that.
Okay.
And so at their pace, for those that don't have those computer skills, especially some of our older veterans.
Okay.
And so we can bring them in and help our younger ones help the older ones.
And there are some that I have a friend, and he's kind of like, I don't understand all this new computer stuff. Too much going on with computers. I'm like, well, unfortunately, that's the way of the world.
It is, and so they have to adapt. And so this is one way to do it. And some of them are on very limited incomes. And so having someone provide a computer for them really is a benefit. We have an older veteran, and when I say in his 90s, very active, and he rehabs electric wheelchairs and scooters. And so if a family has one that they're not utilizing anymore, may need a minor repair, then he rehabs that, and we've been able to place that with veterans and family members where they've needed one and needed access to one. And so City of Jonesboro last year was very kind and gave us a little bit of money to go towards wheelchair batteries. And so, electric wheelchairs are expensive, and scooters. And so they have a need, and we have one, we just place it.
That's wonderful.
And so we're sort of an avenue for different programs like this to come together. And so we're very excited about that. The Purple Heart Association for this area meets at our office once a month.
Okay.
And the DAV, also Disabled American Veterans Group, meets. We provide a space for them, and they'll meet May 20th. That'll be their next meeting.
Okay.
And so they meet, and then they're also support to us. So it's a mutual benefit. And so they're a great group. They always encourage any veteran, to see if you're eligible to come join. It gives you something to socialize, which is a key component for our veterans. They need to socialize.
Do you find that the ones that come and utilize your services and they fellowship with other veterans, they maybe start to open up and feel a little bit better, like not feel so isolated because you're around someone that knows what you've been through and you can share stories?
Absolutely. That is a huge benefit, because whenever I came back, I had a hard time adjusting, and of course you have your family, but they don't understand.
Okay.
And so the relief is, okay, I'm with people who understand what I've been through. Like, every experience is different, but we all have the same symptoms, I guess. And so we understand one another, and it's a great camaraderie.
Wow. Do you ever get to a point where, and we won't go into it because one, we're about to go to break. You can just say yes or no. We can get into it a little bit later. Do you ever have times when you're telling a story, you still get emotional?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so you're tuned into Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM, and we'll talk a little bit more with Miss April, and we'll talk more about the Dog Fest that is coming up. I was hoping they could bring a dog today, but oh well, maybe another day. So please do not go anywhere. We'll be right back after these announcements.
You're listening to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM. We'll be right back.
Are you equipped to protect your family from the poisons of pornography? I'm Mark Merrill with today's Family Minute. Recently, my adult sons and I decided to watch a movie together. Halfway through the movie, a very inappropriate scene unfolded on the screen. I was shocked. I grabbed the remote and fumbled to get it off the screen. I knew it said PG-13 on the trailer, but when I looked again, it said UN next to the movie we rented. That stands for unedited. Basically, anything goes. My job as a father is to protect my children, and that means protecting their eyes and hearts. I also want to equip you with ways to guard your kids and yourself from the dangers of pornography. For more on this topic, visit my blog at markmerrill.com. Remember, your family first.
Family Minute is made possible by the Kappa Nu Omega chapter of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, a non-profit organization committed to service to all mankind. Kappa Nu Omega Alpha Kappa Alpha on Facebook and KNOMEGA1908.com.
Starks Auto Plaza, your pre-owned superstore, is a longtime supporter of KLEK. 2829 Red Wolf Boulevard, Starks offers clean, reliable vehicles of all makes and models. Starks also offers no-hassle pricing, friendly service, financing options with approved credit. At Starks, you're always family, and our motto is, we never say no. 870-203-9980. StarksAutoPlaza.com.
When a woman gives her all to a boyfriend, she is hopeful about the future. Marriage was in her future plans until she received some shocking news. Now with her dreams shattered and life altered, she has to pick up the pieces and move forward. It was in this experience that she realized that love has no protection. KLEK 102.5 and Massey Production presents the inspirational gospel stage play, Love Has No Protection, a story that will inspire you, renew, and reaffirm your faith. Featuring performers from all over Arkansas, Texas, and Louisiana. One big show, 7 p.m. Saturday, June 24th at the Arkansas State University Student Union Auditorium. Tickets are $10 in advance, $15 at the door, and can be purchased at KLEK, Cool Cuts, and online at www.klekfm.org or by calling 870-277-1080. Bring the entire family Saturday, June 24th to the Arkansas State University Student Union Auditorium to see Love Has No Protection, the inspirational gospel stage play, 7 p.m. This event is a KLEK fundraiser.
Just added a special 3 o'clock p.m. matinee show. That's right, now it's going to be 2 shows, 3 o'clock p.m. and 7 o'clock p.m. The hit gospel stage play, Love Has No Protection, coming to the ASU Student Union Auditorium June 24th. Don't miss it.
House of Details, located at 3217 Herb Street, Suite C, is a proud supporter of KLEK, offering detailing on any type of vehicle, waxing, clear coat protection, basic wash, hand wash, shampoo, interior cleaning, buffering, headlight restoration, pickup, delivery, and more. With a motto of, anything mean, we can clean. Details available via Quentin Bogard at 870-273-5187. House of Details on Facebook and houseofdetailsjonesboro.com. Did you know KLEK has a brand new streaming app? That's right, you can listen to KLEK 102.5 FM anywhere in the world. The app is available for all Android phones and tablets, as well as iPhones and iPads. Just search your app store for KLEK and download the KLEK app for free today. And don't miss a beat of the education, entertainment, and empowerment on KLEK 102.5 FM.
And now back to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM.
All right, welcome back to Community Conversations. I'm your host, Quabila Hart, with Miss Micah Simone. And our special guest today is Miss Lynda Nash, Mrs. Lynda Nash, and April Mancias. And I can't thank them enough for coming and sharing their stories. And Miss April, we thank you for your service. You know, no one knows but other military individuals know what you've been through, what you've endured. So I can't say thank you enough for the work that you've done for our country. So, and if you feel like you can share a little more, or just offer some advice maybe to those that are considering going into the military or those that are coming out, please feel free to share. What we want to talk about, first of all, is the Dog Fest. In April, also, I was told that you have a service dog, so we definitely want to hear your experience since having the dog. You know, let's talk about, first of all, the event is going to be Saturday, May 20th. 2017 from 10 to 3 p.m. And this is going to be at the A-State ROTC Military Science Building. Now, where is that located?
1921 Aggie.
1921 Aggie.
And so this will be on the west side of the campus.
Okay.
For anyone who's taken that new sort of bypass that circles the campus, it'll be right there on your left.
Oh, okay.
So we'll have parking around that area.
Okay. And so the flyer says indoor dog park. That should be awesome.
It should be.
Meet lots of dogs, doggy vendors, and dog contests. So what would the contest entail?
Oh, I think one of them is your hero.
Oh.
Tell a story about your dog being your hero.
Oh my goodness.
Will be one. We're also going to have the police department K-9 unit.
Oh, goodness.
Humane Society is going to be present. And so a lot of different vendors that have something to do with dogs, but we also have some community providers that will be there. And then I think we'll have some of our dogs that are part of our dog program.
Okay.
We had a huge request over the last couple of years about, I'd like a service dog. How do I get a service dog?
Okay.
And so we started researching it, and we came up with, they're expensive, you go on a very large waiting list, etc., time consuming, and so we thought, well, maybe there's another way.
Okay.
And so that's what we did. We wrote some small grants.
Okay.
We had a community grant for our initial class, located a trainer who's certified, Michelle Hill. Okay. And most of our dogs are all rescue dogs. So we have 12 people in a class right now. We're about 3/4 of the way through the class. They have to do a minimum of 18 weeks of training with their dogs, not including what they do at home. They have homework.
Okay.
And but they have to pass 3 exams. So they have basic obedience, advanced obedience, and community access.
Okay.
Dogs have to be neutered. 8 of our dogs came from the Humane Society.
Wonderful.
The other 4, their owners already had, but they were all rescue dogs.
That's wonderful.
Themselves. And they're a wide variety of breeds.
I can imagine.
And, but we're excited. I've seen a huge difference in these dogs and their owners.
Okay.
It's a huge commitment on the owner's part. But, one of the veterans spoke at my last board meeting, and he told them, he said, I was in a bad place. I was in a really bad place, and my dog saved me.
That is wonderful.
And it does make a difference. And April has a beautiful dog.
And do the dogs have to be a certain size, or can the little lap ones be trained?
Lap ones are fine.
Okay.
You know, not too big is
Okay.
generally recommended because, you know, they're traveling with you, they're going
Okay.
places, they need to fit under a desk or table.
So no Great Dane.
But our two largest dogs are a lab mix.
Okay.
And so, of course, they're very smart. Any of the working dogs, which is what April has, are excellent as service dogs. But we have several small dogs, 20 pounds, 25 pounds, little brown dogs. And they're cute as they can be. And some boxer mixes. We've had, one has an Australian Shepherd, and Maisie is
A border collie.
and so she has a black and white beautiful dog.
Does a collie try to herd people?
Oh yes, she is a herder by definition.
Oh goodness. So let's talk about your dog.
Well, Maisie, I rescued Maisie about a year ago. Well, it'll be a year next month. Wasn't really looking for a dog, but a friend of mine had rescued her from a puppy mill. And she was terrified of people. I mean, just horribly terrified. And whenever I seen her, I mean, I call it a God thing.
Okay.
Because she has PTSD as well.
Okay.
And so I chalk it up to, she saved me and I saved her, and we just clicked instantly, and it was just an amazing bond and friendship. And she wakes me up from my nightmares. I wake her up from her nightmares. So it was, like I said, it was just a God thing.
It's wonderful. I can't even imagine all the training that goes into training these dogs how to recognize when you're about to have a trigger, when something is triggering you, any type of emotion. That's amazing that these dogs can recognize that.
You spend a lot of time with your dog. Your dog does get to know you, and some things are very subtle. Some things are movement, scent, smells, that you put out different. They recognize that they respond to those emotions, real strong emotions, and they want to calm you, and so they do calm you down. And so a lot of our dogs are being trained, because one of the things a lot of our veterans have issues with is they're very hypersensitive to people being around them. They don't like to be surprised.
Okay.
And so a good portion of the dogs are being trained to discreetly notify their owner someone's approaching from behind you or where you don't see them. Just to say someone's coming, and it can be as simple as they move from your side to the front.
Okay.
And that's your cue, somebody's coming. And then you're prepared, and then you don't have that really strong startle reflex. And so they feel safer.
It's like always having a friend with you to
Yes,
watch your back.
absolutely.
Watch your back. It is. It's a lot about watching your back. And so they also help them with anxiety attacks,
Okay.
to help calm them, because they'll lick, they'll want to be rubbed and petted, and when you do that, that takes you out of you.
Okay.
And so that helps bring them back down, and where they can self-soothe. And so, and maybe avoid going into a full-blown panic attack.
That's wonderful. Now, are there many places around town that are welcoming of service dogs?
Yes, there's several places. You've taken yours to.
I've taken mine to several restaurants.
Okay.
I've taken her to grocery stores. There's really only, I'd say maybe one or two places that were really hesitant.
Okay.
But as soon as they understood what it was for, because a lot of times you get, are they a service dog? Even though they're wearing the vest that says service dog on it. Are they a service dog? What do they do for you? And one of the big things that Miss Michelle talks about in our classes is you don't have to tell them any more than, really what you're comfortable with.
Okay.
But
This is my personal business. I don't want to just spill
No,
it to a
but
stranger.
they are,
Right.
if they are allowed to ask.
Okay.
What do they do for you? You can do that in very brief summary. It calms me, they alert me. something very discreet. Lowe's is exceptional. We've recommended all of ours take theirs to Lowe's.
Okay.
And I think Home Depot has a good veteran population on staff. They've been very friendly. And so, because that gives the dog experience, they bring them to our place. And so they're around students, different ages, they walk around buildings, and stairs and elevators and automatic doors and all of these different things. Our dogs, while they're in training, they are wearing a service vest. It says service dog in training. You Lucky Dog was kind enough to provide all of our service vests for our dogs.
Wow.
And so she's been a great sponsor. And so they are encouraged at this point in their training to take them out in public.
Okay.
And so very few have had any opposition. And so we really do appreciate that. And so we have a waiting list of people who want to do our next class.
Okay.
And so that's the reason for Dog Fest, is to raise funds for our next class.
Okay.
And so,
Can the service dogs also be used for, I remember this young girl in my class when I was a kid. She had a service dog, but for her diabetes.
yes, there are seizure dogs, diabetes dogs, and they alert off basically. There's a change in scent. And so our trainer's very familiar in how to train for that. We don't have one in training for that at this time, but that is certainly doable. I met a lady last week, and she had her little dog was with her, and it was a seizure alert dog.
So a veteran that possibly goes through that necessary, I guess the dog needing that training, how would that work? Do they have to wait longer?
Probably it would be additional training. That is a very specific skill that takes, and so if someone's needing that, I think one would have to work with the trainer, because you may need a certain type of dog that may be more prone to picking that up faster, and then that would involve some individual sessions about how do you train for that. And so I know with diabetic dogs that part of it is like taking cotton balls, and when your blood sugar is really low, blowing on them, putting them in a bag, so that gives them a scent to work off of. So when you can alert for low and high, because there's a different, it may not be, we may not notice it,
but they
notice it.
Okay.
And so, and I can see where that would be I'm diabetic myself, and so I can understand where that would be valuable.
Okay. Now, is there advice you can give us, the general public, on how to or how not to approach a service dog?
Well, you need to ask the owner.
Okay.
If they're working, they may be instructed not to let people pet them. In some cases, the owner is fine with that, and it doesn't distract the dog.
Okay.
And so always ask the owner, may I approach your dog, or can I talk to your dog, or pet your dog? And they can tell you what's appropriate for their particular dog.
Okay.
And so that would be the best advice.
Are the dogs during their training, they're with their handler or their owner? Are they trained to say, if you allow someone to pet them, but something's about to happen? Are they trained how to snap back and go back into work mode?
Well, their emphasis is always on their owner.
Okay.
Right. And so it always has to be on their owner. So you wouldn't, but at the same time, you're out someplace, you need to go in the restroom or something. The dogs are trained that I need to be able to hand my dog to somebody.
Okay.
For a few minutes to take care of business or to do something. And so at that point, so they need to be a social animal.
Okay.
And so that's one of the things we're looking for. Does this dog like people?
Okay. Yeah, so there's...
And to add to that, I know that my personal preference is I let most of the time, unless I know that I'm just having a really bad day and I want her just to be focused on me, a lot of times the dogs will tell you, okay, I like this person or I don't like this person. So, that lets me know. Okay, well, I don't like this person, so I keep my distance. Or, okay, yes, this is a friendly person. It's okay. They seem approachable.
Okay.
So.
And then
How do
also,
they let you know?
My dog will not go near someone if she doesn't like her. She won't approach them at all. Her hair stands on end. She keeps her distance. And okay, there's something about that person that just doesn't sit well with me. So that's helpful to me. You know,
it's amazing how dogs can pick up on.
They are extremely intelligent animals. Like so many people underestimate what a dog is capable of.
Yeah.
So
you see so many stories. I see videos on Facebook all the time with the things that animals do, and so many people comment, "Why can't humans be more like animals?" I mean, they have this love, unconditional love and dedication that we can't even fathom.
No, and a service dog is a lot of work.
It is.
You know, you've got care of it and vaccinations. They have to stay current on their shots. That'll be one of the things for Dog Fest.
Okay.
When people bring their pets, they have to have a current rabies vaccination. So we'll look for that on their tag because they should be wearing it.
Okay.
And so, but they do provide a lot of company, and if we have a veteran who's by themselves, this is someone who greets you.
Okay.
And so, sense of touch.
Okay.
I see that. I do mental health, and I see that sometimes with our elderly population or people that live alone. When was the last time somebody touched them?
Okay.
Whether it's a pat on the back, pat on their hand. You think about when's the last time you were touched. And so, and so that's a big thing. This is someone who likes them, who wants to be with them, and gives them some attention.
It's kind of sad when you brought just thinking about that. Like, wow, that's not something you think about every day. When's the last time somebody held your hand and gave you a hug?
Give you a hug. And it's those little things that sometimes we take for granted. And so, anyway, so you may see a lot of hugs when you come to our place. And so, and that's personal preference too. Some people don't. Some people need that.
Okay.
And so, but we want to be a warm, inviting, safe place for someone to come. And, if you're having a rough day, come visit with us, come hang out, come sit. And so, and then also they give back to others. I called a young veteran who's had a real rough time, and I told him, I said, I know a veteran who's at a nursing home who's not elderly.
Okay.
His health is just so bad at this point he's having to be in a nursing home.
Okay.
And so he's visited him for me a few times because he just doesn't have any family here. And he's lonely. And I said, but he has a house and a yard. And so we were looking for some veterans to say, can anybody go by and mow his yard for him so he doesn't have to worry about it? And he stepped up and said, I'll take care of that. Not a problem.
That's amazing. So they have a community within themselves.
They are.
That's really amazing. So do you all, Miss April, do you all get together for holidays and other events? And, I can imagine, just say 4th of July, everybody's popping firecrackers. And do you all get together and try to help each other cope and deal with those that have issues with them?
Well, I haven't personally, but yes. I would definitely say, if you're in this area, Beck Pride is really good about on certain holidays like St. Patrick's Day. We all got together. I cooked, made a cake, and brought food in for everybody. So it is warm and inviting. I usually spend 4th of July with my family.
Okay.
But for anybody that doesn't have family here, Beck Pride is definitely a good place to go and a good resource for them to spend time with other people to get out of the house on those holidays.
And during those times, like, on 4th of July, many people like to pop firecrackers. And that noise can be disturbing for
We
some.
don't do it at my house.
Okay.
I tell you that.
Right.
I said we don't. But now some are comfortable with it. Some are comfortable if they have a group that they're safe in.
Okay.
And they're fine. or they do it from a distance.
Okay.
You know, they can sit in their car and see it out in the park.
Okay.
And so they can make some and others, no.
Okay.
And so very individual. And so that's where you also need to know what's going to happen where you're at.
Okay.
So that you can be prepared for that. We have a Facebook page, Beck Pride Center, and so we do post events that are going on for veterans.
Okay.
Memorial Day, there's several different events for veterans.
Okay.
They're doing a motorcycle ride that's going to the Veteran Cemetery. So it'll be about an hour's ride that will be taking place, and we'll have that up on our site. There is an event on June 4th, I think that's the right day. That'll be on our Facebook page, and that's actually, they're doing it as a fundraiser for our dog program, but they're doing a motorcycle ride. It's a poker run around Jonesboro, and that's the Defenders, which is the police department motorcycle club.
Oh, wow.
And so they're doing an activity, and then there's going to be a roping.
Oh, wow. Okay, we're going to talk a little bit more about some of those when we come back. Our break came up on us pretty quickly, so please stay tuned. You're listening to Community Conversation on KLEK 102.5 FM.
You're listening to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM. We'll be right back.
We're back with Money Matters. I'm Alfred Edmond Jr. Whether you rarely buy lottery tickets or you buy dozens of tickets every day, we are all driven by the same persistent idea. If I could just hit the lottery, I'd be set for life. Or would you? According to research compiled by statisticsbrain.com on 34 national lottery winners, 44% of the winners had spent their entire winnings in 5 years. Another study of lottery winners showed that the bigger the windfall, the more likely the winners were to file for bankruptcy after 5 years. Winning the lottery does not let you off the hook when it comes to eliminating and avoiding debt, committing to savings, following a budget, and living within your means. If you're not managing your money properly, your lottery winnings will not likely last. In fact, you could actually end up in worse financial shape than you were before you bought that winning ticket. I'm Alfred Edmond Jr. for Money Matters, a product of American Urban Radio Networks.
Money Matters is made possible by the Jonesboro chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, a nonprofit organization dedicated to uncompromising commitment to communities, service, leadership, empowerment. www.jonesboroalumnidst.org.
Money Matters is brought to you by Bancorp South, offering checking, savings, loans, credit cards, and wealth management. 5 locations in Jonesboro to serve you. www.bancorpsouth.com or 870-972-9800.
Arkansas Early Learning prepares children up to 5 years old for kindergarten by offering a secure learning environment, qualified teachers at several locations in Northeast Arkansas at no cost. Applications are available at arearlylearning.org.
Arkansas Early Learning is a nonprofit organization.
And now back to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM.
And welcome back to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM. We're speaking with Mrs. Lynda Nash and April Mancias, and they are both here representing the Beck Pride Center on Arkansas State University's campus. They provide a variety of services for veterans, disabled veterans, wounded veterans, veterans of all branches of the military. And we want to thank everyone out there that is listening and wanting that you put in for the time, the hour, the blood, sweat, and tears. So thank you so much for all of your service. Okay, so I want to give April opportunity to follow up with any comments, any final thoughts, any advice, people going into the military, coming out, things that you learned. Go for it.
I think the biggest adjustment for me was, I mentioned earlier that I have a little girl, and her, the hardest for me was, I left her when she was 6 months old, and I've done what I wanted to do. Now it's time to be a mom, and it's taken a few years. It's taken adjustment to get her completely, because she stayed with my parents while I was gone. And it took her a few years to finally wanting me instead of wanting my mom when she was sick or, you know, having a bad day or something like that. So I would offer encouragement and just say, you know, stick with it, don't give up, keep your head up, because it does get better. You just have to be patient and give it time, and just know that there are resources and people out there that do care.
Okay.
So.
Alrighty, well, thank you. And Miss Lynda, you're on the other end of the spectrum. What advice would you give to families that are dealing with, you know, loved ones going away?
Communication's key. Okay. And if you're struggling with communication, then get professional help.
Okay.
Because it won't get better unless you address it.
Okay.
And so learning how to communicate, and everybody changes during a deployment, not just the veteran.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And sometimes family members forget they've changed too.
Okay.
Kids have grown up, spouses or other family members taking care of business, roles have changed in the family, and so that's an adjustment for everybody.
Do you often feel guilty about going on with your life when other people are, when your loved ones are gone? You have to live your life. You have to go to work. You have to take care of business.
You have to have fun.
Yes. Do you feel a sense of guilt sometimes, though, that I'm kind of going on with my life and they're in a situation that's dangerous or not as desirable?
I think some do, and some feel like, you know, how much do I share? I think on the other end, the veteran feels the same thing. How much can I share, or I'm restricted from sharing, or how much contact can I even have?
Okay.
And so there is some guilt. I think one of the things, you know, a lot of them have had babies, very young children, you know, and you know, in an infant's life, 6 months makes a huge difference.
Yes, ma'am.
And so do they even recognize that parent anymore? And so, and bigger kids have gotten used to them not being there. And so when they come back, they make an adjustment because I'm used to going to the other parent or the person who is responsible for me. And I forget that I can ask them or they have a role in it. And so I think families do. But most of our veterans say that's why I deployed, that's why I joined.
Okay.
I want to protect my family, and this is one of the ways I did it.
I want to ask you also, Miss April, when you first came home, I'm sure there are some times you wanted to talk, but then there are other times you just didn't want to talk about anything that you saw, heard, did in the military. But as time went on, did you find yourself needing to talk just to kind of help get stuff out of your head? For everyone, see us. So tune in tomorrow. We will have the mayor of Jonesboro, Mayor Harold Perrin. Thank you and have a blessed day.
Thank you for listening to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM.